Here's the problem. The Senate Democrats are saying the bill is going to be dead on arrival. And President Biden said, if it comes to me, I will veto it. If this deal doesn't include money for Ukraine and $9 billion for humanitarian aid to Gaza, he's going to shoot it down. Really? But Mike Johnson says he's a man of conservative principle. He won't consider any package that does not provide offsets to our country's exploding national debt. So what are we going to do here? Let's bring in a guy that's seen it all. Florida Congressman Michael Waltz, Republican member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, I know you back Israel. You know they need the money and the armaments. You also know eventually, so does Ukraine. So where does this legislation go?
Well, here's the problem, Brian. Washington is always obsessed with how much money can we throw at the problem. And the issue here is we're throwing a lot of money after bad policy. It's bad policy on the border. It's bad policy with Iran. As long as Iran is rich with selling its oil and the price of oil is high because we won't release American energy on the global market, they're going to have plenty of money to support Hezbollah and Hamas. And it's also bad policy in Ukraine, and that Biden has not given them what they need and now backed us into a stalemate. So this is a moment of leverage. What the House has is the power of the purse, and we need to use that and debate each of these measures separately to push the administration to change their policy on border, on Iran, on Russia, and on energy. And I fully support Speaker Mike Johnson doing that. And then separately, I don't know, with $33 trillion in debt and counting, we kind of need to pay for a $100 billion package somehow. And whether it's the IRS or it's the Green New Deal subsidies or something else that was in the $6 trillion that the Biden administration and the Democrats have spent in the last 2 years, I guarantee you there is plenty of pork and fat to pull back on to take care of our greatest ally.
So can you do something quickly? I mean, is there anybody reasonable in the Senate? All Senator Schumer says, I'm not going to look at anything that's not $110 billion. You guys passed it. Everybody, Senator Schumer especially, big pro-Israeli politician who's got all the power in the Senate. So how does this play out? Is there a pledge to take up Ukraine and Taiwan aid after? Would that be enough? You've seen a lot of this bargaining before.
Yeah, well, first I'd point out we passed this within a week of Speaker Johnson getting the gavel. And if Senator Schumer and Senate Democrats love the IRS so much, again, these agents haven't even been hired, but they love the IRS so much they're not willing to support Israel, then I'll let them make that case to the American people. And Speaker Johnson has said, look, we're not going to leave Ukraine behind. We have to stop Putin. But just because we have tough questions, what is the end state? What is the goal? Is it all of Crimea? Is it the pre-invasion line? Is it to chew up the Russian military? Those all require different strategies and different hardware. And just because we have tough questions 2 years into this, when Biden has dithered his way into a war of attrition, that doesn't mean that we're not willing to stop Russia. It means we're doing our job from an oversight perspective and making them come up with a strategy and making them force the Europeans to come up with their fair share. And then finally on border, we can't throw more money at bad policy for more processing. We have to absolutely change policy. So that's what you're going to see from the House, and I'll support that all day long, and I think the American people will too.
It's just a shame that for you have to explain Ukraine, Lindsey Graham, General Jack Keane. This presidency does not know how to explain anything. So therefore, they lose momentum. We cannot lose. Ukraine cannot lose to Russia here because Georgia will be next, and they're coming for the Baltic states. They need to. The American people need to play this out. Michael, I'll talk to you tomorrow on One Nation. We'll talk more about this.